work goes a long way. Welcome to the world of the ACT. Together we can nail this thing. I'm a tutor who hates tests. Why do I hate them so much? Because they don't seem fair, and I like to play fair. So that is why I'm here, to help you score your personal best on the ACT. Now, I can't do it all for you. You have to listen to it as many times as it takes to really get what I'm saying. For very, very few people, this stuff comes easy. For most people, it takes some practice, but the payoff is huge. You could get into college. You could help pay for college through scholarships. That's right. You heard me. And once that happens, life changes. You can really walk down a road that can lead to a great career and a lot of money. So seatbelts on, hold on tight. We're about to give you the keys. And with even a small amount of work, you will get a great result. Think how natural and easy it is for you to now use a computer, social media like Instagram, Twitter. You can't even remember when you learned all that stuff. So I beg you, give this at least a little of your time. Do some practice problems. Review what we say is important. Learn it for the first time if no one has ever taught you this stuff. Do it like your life depends on it, because in some ways, the quality of your life really does. Okay, enough of that. Let's get moving. The ACT has 4 sections and an essay. The essay is called writing, and we will handle that last because it doesn't really figure into the score that you will need to get into college. We call that the composite score because it is composed of the 4 scores in the main sections. We add them up and divide by 4. The test scores go from 1 to 36, and you should at least shoot for the 20s. The higher, the better. You do not have any penalties for guessing, so please do not ever leave a single question blank. I'm going to say that a few times. That's how important it is. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to tackle each section, giving you the most important things that you need to know in order to do well. We are not going to cover every single thing, just the most important things. You will have access to every single thing, but learn these most important things first. So here are the 4 sections. English first, which is grammar, which is 45 minutes, 5 stories. Math, which is 60 minutes for 60 questions. Reading, 35 minutes for 4 stories or 40 questions. Science, 35 minutes for 7 what I call lab reports. And then there's the optional 30-minute essay. Okay, English. This really means grammar. There are 5 different stories, and almost every sentence has something underlined. These will be very easy to read stories, and each one will be followed by 15 questions. You'll have 45 minutes to get through them all. Why are all these numbers so important? Because you can practice a full story in 9 minutes. Who can't find 9 minutes to do some practice? Then they ask you some grammar rules, which I will teach you, and some things about how the thing is written. I'll teach you that too. And your job is to learn the rules that you need to know, because very few kids, very few adults for that matter, really know grammar rules that they ask you about. And then practice answering the questions the way that I teach you to do so. You can do great and go very fast on this test if you know the rules well. Okay, next we have math, section 2. Math has 60 questions that cover geometry, algebra 1, algebra 2, and a few questions from trigonometry. If you've not had these classes, or if you've forgotten this stuff, then you can learn or review that now to do well on the math section. And even if you haven't had all this, you can learn it for the test. It may seem a little crazy, but it's a great idea. Learn some stuff that's easy to do. We suggest bouncing through the test, especially the math test, getting all the ones that you can right, and coming back to the harder problems. A lot more on that later. No more than 1 minute on any one question on the math. Okay, section 3 is called reading. The ACT reading will require you to throw out all the ways that you've learned to read up to now. I'm going to teach you a new way, with tricks to finish and get a lot right. The time flies. When I was learning to be a tutor and I took the ACT for the first time, I turned to my teachers and I said, seriously? No one, no book, no online lessons, nothing helped me accomplish this. I made up a way to do it, and I'm going to give you the special sauce. But you're going to have to actually try it out in order to do well. Very few people, maybe 1 in 100, can do it right the first time. You will need to do a little practice. I've seen a ton of kids go through get from getting a few right to getting the majority right, and using my method. And that's fantastic. You will see. It will work. It will seem a little bit crazy, but it will work. Section 4 is science, and it's the one that most people hate the most. It's fast, furious, and even tough for those brainiacs who seem to know it all. It's weird. The good thing is that there are a lot of tricks to get a lot right. It looks harder than it actually is. It's not remembering that chemistry theory or that bio species. It's figuring things out from charts and graphs and experiments and words. For many of you, reading charts and graphs will be important for your work. For all of you, thinking through problems and solving them will be a part of growing up into an adult. We will really give you a lot of help on this section. So get your best attitude, think positively, and learn how to do these. The essay is optional. It's called ACT Plus Writing, but most colleges will need you to do this in order to apply. It is actually the easiest thing to learn how to do because I'm going to give you a formula. Yes, a formula that you can memorize and use for those 30 minutes at the end of the test when all you really want to do is go home and eat lunch. I invented this formula and it works, so don't worry about it too much. Just leave some time to practice the formula plus a few of the grammar rules and you should be fine. A note about guesses. Never leave an answer blank. I know I said it before, but I'm going to say it a couple times. They don't take off anything extra if you guess wrong, so guess. Most statistics experts think that you should pick 1 or 2 letters and only use those for your guesses, like maybe C or F. I am fine with that if it's a wild guess. For everything else, we will get rid of a few answers because we know they're wrong and then make an educated guess from what is left. This is called the process of elimination. It's kind of like dodgeball. We hit a few, get them out, and then deal with what is left. So timing and practicing are key. Okay, timing and practicing. If you don't practice with the watch, you'll sink. You have to learn from us how to time yourself in each part of the test. You have to do your part. Remember when you got your driver's license, or maybe you're just getting it now? You had to practice. You have to practice this. You won't score your personal best on this test without a little bit of practice in each section. We're going to talk about timing, and we're going to teach your brain how to work for each section. But you are going to have to figure out which works best for you, and only you are going to be able to know that. We are going to provide you with practice tests, so please print out the pages that you need to practice your new skills. Even if you spend a few minutes each week during a part of a practice test, you will improve your chances of doing better on the test. You need to learn to think in terms of how long you actually have to complete each question. If you have trouble with any one question, you should tell yourself to move on, keep going. Even if you have to guess at the end of a section, you may still do quite well on the ACT. Learn how to quickly get through the easy ones. Learn how to keep yourself moving at a good pace. We will go into detail into each section to help you through this course. Before we talk about the ACT in specific, I do want to remind you that I do get really excited about this stuff. So sometimes I speak a little fast. And if I do, feel free to put me on pause at any time. That's great, because in real life it's kind of hard to put me on pause. But this way you totally can, and re-listen to what I've just said. What can you do to score your personal best on the ACT? Well, you're doing it right now. The more you learn about the test, the better you're going to do. You'll know what to expect. You won't have to take the time on the test to read the instructions. You will study what you need to know, so you won't feel panic when you're sitting there. You will learn what you don't know about some of the subjects that the ACT tests. Above all, please remember that you should not stress out over not completely finishing the test. However, knowledge is power, and you need to know which questions you should attempt to do and which ones you will need to fill in with guesses. Your personal plan of attack may be different from those of your friends, so please invest in yourself. You're really worth the effort. Remember, and I said this a lot, never leave an answer blank on the ACT. They don't take anything extra off for a wrong guess, so why not try to get it right? Okay, So before we begin, make sure that you have everything you need to do your best with these lessons. Be in a quiet place or wear headphones, have paper and pencil handy to take notes and to make your own guesses as you learn all the new information. When you get into the reading section, you will need to be near a printer to print out some practice for reading. So, when everything can be checked off, quiet place or headphones, check. Pencil and paper, check. Before the reading section, can I find a printer? Check. Most important of all, great attitude? Check. Okay, we're ready to roll. Now remember, English will be first because that is the very first thing that you will do on the test. Thanks.